back to my channel and to Bind It All Tuesday. And today we're doing the Coptic stitch, which I'm not real fond of. I will be the first to admit it. I did it. This is my very first attempt at it. What I like about it is that the pages lay flat. I like that. However, I found it quite tricky to do and a little frustrating. But I'm certain that once you practice, it'll be much better. So here's what I did. So we had craft dinner last night, so I took the box and I made my cover out of my box. And these pages here are pages that I made from my scraps and book pages. So there's my cover, my front and back. And then what I did with this one was I did individual pages, and originally I was going to do 20 and I cut it back to 10 because I had enough with it by the time I was done. So I took those other 10 pages, cut them in half, and I made them in here. Now, as you can see, my pages are lined up, and I made signatures this time. I did a little research, and you can do it with signatures. The normal seems to be about 5 pages per signature. So I did, because it can't be normal, I did 5 signatures with 4 pages in because that's what I had left from that other one. Okay, so then what I did was I created myself a template. And as you can see, I did 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I did 1, 2, and 3. And I did that because I like the look. I like this look. And you can do this however you want. You can pull it all the way over to here if you want. The only place that you need to worry about getting your thread in is on the front and back cover. That's it. When you do something crazy like this, you can see all of my holes are lined up in my signature for this one here, just as they are with this. So that is one thing that I learned. I don't know whether or not this is going to work or not, so we're going excuse me, my voice was going bye-bye. We're going to give it a go and see what happens. So with this, I'm using waxed thread, and you do the width, the height of your book, just like we do all of the other ones, and then times your signatures and your covers. So I have 5 signatures and 2 covers, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have all of this for a leftover, just in case. And what this comes from is that one. When I cut back the pages, I cut this off too, so I wouldn't use it. Okay, I tried with that one to use this rounded needle. I'm going to give it a good, honest effort. Now, I ditched it in the other one, but hey, we're friends. You can see me struggle, right? Okay, so we're going to take our cover and our first signature, and I'm going to put everything right over here. I just want to pick, oh yeah, no, let's turn it over. Just do this right. We're going to start from the back. So we're going to take our cover. Make sure you mark your tops, right? You make yourself a template. That's what I didn't show you, did I? Make yourself a template. And what I did here was I just took, and once I had my holes in here, I marked where I wanted my holes just by doing this. And then I moved down like this to mark where I wanted this one. Now I'm on the different, this is upside down. This is upside down. But anyways, that's what I did. And then I punched my holes through here. Now I don't remember which way is which. This is, I had this way, didn't I? This shouldn't be this way. This is, yes, yes it is. Okay, let's just make sure. I don't want to do this wrong, so let's just make certain, because this is what I did. I'm certain of it, but I'm not certain of it. So let's try this. Does this line up my holes? There they are. Okay, so this is going to go like so. My front and my back. Okay, so now I'm going to take my back and I'm going to flip it over, because that is my, right, this is my outside, so I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to take this and put this. This is my top. This is my top. Okay, so my holes line up here. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, and then we're going to take this. Now this, we'll see. We'll see. So in this particular, because you're putting your this in here first. So we're going to go through our first hole. Bring, oh. Find your end of your thread. Make a knot, duh. Otherwise it's just going to pull straight through. And that's one thing that I found with doing it individually, or the individual pages, is that my knot didn't hold. It just ripped through the pages. So I'm going to say with more body that they will then stay where they're supposed to. Okay, get back to business here. This is only my second time doing this, so if I struggle, the struggle is real. Okay, so we have our first stitch through the center here, and it's nicely placed in there. And then we're going to come through. We have to go through. Yeah, you've seen my thought process. Okay, so we're going to go. We're going to wrap this around our cover like this, and we're going to come in through the top. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to, I'm doing this backwards. I know I am. I'm working from the bottom, but that's okay. So we're going to pull this all the way through. I'm going to pull this all the way through like this. There we go. So now we have our string here. We pulled it all the way through. In here. We pulled it all the way through here. Okay. Then we're going to just because we're going to go left through right into this one here. I don't think you're supposed to do this, but I'm going to, because, well, why not? We're going to do it on the next one. Okay, and then this here, you go back, you go through the signature hole. This is your first one. It's always the tough one. Okay. And you're just going to go through like so. If you don't see all this, then it was wrong. And you want to make sure that you pull snug, but not rip it through. Okay, and usually once you do that one stitch, it's kind of done. So every time you put your needle through a hole, you pull it through, snug it up. Oh, let's not take the scissors with us. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to go back again through the cover of the cover. And we're going to pull it through. And we're going to snug it up. Okay, and then we're going to go through. The way that you know how to go through right to left or left to right is where your thread is. So I'm here, I'm going this way. I want to wrap it. And like I said, I'm not 100% certain now that I'm doing this that you have to do this on this particular, but why wouldn't you, right? I'm just going to do it because that's what I'm doing. And then we bring our needle through. I paper clipped my signatures together, my pages and my signature together, just because that's what I do. Because I want to make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to be. Okay. So now we're just going to go to our next hole. That's way over here. We're bringing it down. We're bringing it through our cover, just the cover, just like so. And we're going to, just like so, give it a nice snug pull. And we're going to bring it back through this stitch. This is very time consuming. And I just maybe didn't have the patience for it last night, or it was because I was doing those single pages. It was a lot. It was a lot. Okay, so we have gone through, we have snugged it up. Now we're going to go through this hole here. And over top of our, this is the one that we're going to do up here. Like so. Makes it a little trickier to get it through. And that might be why one of the reasons why I didn't like this curved needle. But I think too, it's just something new. Haven't used before. I've never used a curved needle before. A lot of new things for me in this particular endeavor. Okay, so move your book, your pages back, your signature back where you want it, and give it a nice snug pull. There we go. There we go. And then your string is on this side, so you're going through this side. There we go. And then we're going back through, if I can get the needle, there we go. Back through our signature here. There we go. And we're just going to snug it. And then we're going to go through this one here. Through our signature. Through the signature. Oh, don't mess those up. Pull it snug. Like I said, every time you bring it through, pull it snug. And this one, we're just going through the... This is where I find it difficult to just pull it snug all the time, because you gotta move things to see. But it does work. There we go. Make sure my thread is... Okay. we're going to go through here. And then back through our signature hole here. And if you have to move your thread, you got to move your thread. Will I do this again? Possibly, because, you know, practice makes perfect. Or at least it helps you understand and get more of a rhythm. It's not horrible. It is time consuming, but to look, the end result is very pretty. And as I was watching different people and whatnot, and there's many different threads that are used. You don't always have to use the wax thread. You can use anything pretty much. I've seen twine, a thin ribbon. Okay, there we go. Pull it snug. And then we're going to go through and lock everything in place. And then snug and back through. There we go. Now, with the last one here, we're going to repeat everything except for let's get this over here where you belong. Okay, so one through the cover, wrap it around. Almost went through the wrong way. Almost. Boy, oh boy. Okay, here we go. Okay. Look how pretty that is. I like that. I do. Okay, snug, wrap it underneath the stitch there. I guess it's not really a stitch at this point. Okay, snug, everything is right. Okay, so now we're going to add our next signature. This is my top? Sure. We'll know as soon as we get this here. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to, instead of going back through this hole like we normally do, we're going to go through this one. Ask me how many times I poked my fingers with this round needle. A few. Okay, so we're just going to line this up. Okay, so now we have that through here. And we are going to go through our next available hole. And the one thing is that I know with that other one, I got the thread tangled and it was really long. But it is kind of important, I think, to make sure that you have enough thread, because if you got to break it, if you got to stop, tie a knot, and then start again, you have a space that you have no thread, and I don't like that. So now we were going this way. We're going to go this way now. And we're going to go right underneath this first line here. There we go. And then we're going to go back through. This is where it gets a little easier. And this is the part that I found that I liked the round needle in. And like I said, you might have to, you don't want to catch your thread, but you might have to move your, you might have to move the thread a little bit other way. There we go. There we go. And I'll just do this. And so we repeat this with each one. And I'm going to shush and I'm going to speed it up so you don't have to listen or watch me painfully do this. And I'm going to work through until I have my last signature, because the last signature is different once again. So you just carry on through and I will shush now. Remember to keep pulling and always under your stitch. Okay, so I'm going to have a sip of my coffee because my hands keep falling asleep. I was like, how can you fall asleep when you're so busy? So now we are on our last signature and our cover. So we're going to take these two together and we're going to put them like so, line them up. Yep, good. Okay, so that means this is going to line up. Okay, so tricky now. So we are going to now go through the top of our cover. Yes, through the top of our cover. going to get things lined up the way we want them. Okay, so then we're going to go through our last stitch. For some reason I'm supposed to pull something through, but I don't see where I have to, so I'm just going to go for it. Okay, so that other one that I did, the first one I did, I pulled it apart so many times, it's not even funny. Oh, I know where I pulled. Okay, so now we've gone through the top, come out, and when we've gone underneath that stitch, now we're going to go through this signature here. Just like so. There we go. And we're going to, this is where I found it difficult to get things back into shape and whatnot. I found it very difficult. So we're going to go through the next hole. Like so. And find a comfortable way to hold this and keep your rhythm. I'm not working on that apparently. Okay, so then we go through the top. We come through here and we go through the top. We go through the top and we come back through here. There we go. There we go. Through the top of our cover. Okay. This is easier with a rounded needle. It can certainly. I kept throwing the rounded needle out when I was doing the first one. Okay, get things lined up here. Snug it up. And then we're going to snug it up and we're going to go through that last stitch that we did there, under, and through our signature hole. And you might have to move thread around, and you might not have to. Okay. It does tighten up once you get everything all through. Just not my favorite thing to do. I'm awkward at it, probably because I've only done it twice. This is only my second time, so that's probably why it's awkward. And that's okay. It's okay to be not perfect with getting it done. That's why if you do it again and do it again, you get better and better, right? Yeah. I do have to chuckle because I have my journal that I first started making things to decorate my pages. Boy, I've come a long way since then. So we're going back through this page, through our stitch, not through the page, through our stitch, and back. Oh, did you see what I just did? Yes, I do. And that, that's why we have our easy peasy. I'll pull it back out. I forgot to go through. I was busy yakking, and I forgot to go through my cover. I'm still not quite used to this whole rounded needle thing. Okay, so we've come up through our signature here. We're going to come through our cover, avoiding going through our thread. There we go. Get things knotted up. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're going to go through this one here. And then we're going to, our signature is slip in here. to get you back in here. Now we're going to go through the signature. There we go. Okay. Now when I said, if you remember, I said if you run out of thread, you just tie a knot and start again. But if I ran out of thread here, that might not bother you. It would bother me though. If I ran out of thread here, there'd be a knot, and then I'd start here. So this would be empty. Or if I ran out here, this whole thing would be empty. So something to keep in mind when you're doing one of these is, do you mind that? Are you okay with that little hole where there's no thread? Or do you want to make sure that you have enough to battle the thread? Because when you're working with a lot of thread, it gets kind of tangled up and whatnots. So I'm going through my hole over here. And this is where I don't like the curved needle. But I'm certain it's just me. I'm certain of that. I just don't. There we go. Okay. Pull her snug. There we go. And then we're going back underneath this last stitch we did. And you can see the chain link. It's cute. I do like it. It's just, it's a lot of tedious work. There we go. A lot of tedious work, but you know, it is what it is. And look at all round curved needles. Okay. Pull her snug. Pull it snug. And can you imagine doing like a full novel like this? I wonder if that's what they did back in the day. And they probably got paid diddly to do it too, didn't they? Okay, we're coming down to the nitty gritty now. Go back under. Anybody who has much experience with these curved needles are going, oh my God, Sophie, get it straight. Or maybe get it right is better. Okay, so now we gotta go in here. There's our needle. Don't want to pull my needle through. Oh, that's just, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna go back in here. With 2 more to do. Yay! Okay, pull it snug. Now I wish, for this one, I wish that I would have used black thread, but I had this white thread already cut, and well, that is what it is. So through the top of your cover, back through, under your stitch, as you fight with your needle, pull this snug, trying to keep your signatures lined up where you want them to be. Pull it snug, back through your signature hole, like so, and we are on the last one. Okay, pulled snug. Okay, so now to do this, to finish it off, we're going to do everything the same. Through the top of our signature. Like so. tight. And underneath our last stitch. And through our signature hole. Why can I not even see that one? There it is. There it is. Okay. Alrighty. Now we just take, and like we did on the other one, tie a knot. And this is where I tried with the round needle, and for some reason I just not that coordinated with a round needle, but we'll give it a go. So there's one knot, and we're going to just double it up. We're just going to double it because I want to make sure it is where it's going. This is where I want it to be. Don't want this puppy coming apart, that's for certain. Okay. There we go. Let's cut this off. And we're going to take all this off. Looks good. Everything lays nice and flat. So, there is the Coptic stitch binding. Is it worth the hassle? Sure. I would have liked to have done a little thicker. I'm going to try. I'm going to do it again someday. Not today. But I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to try it with twine, a thinner twine, because I think that would be pretty too. And obviously black on this one, but there we have it. So there is the tutorial for today, and our Coptic stitch. These are single pages. These are signatures. I like the signatures better. I think it looks better. And it was easier to do. So make sure you go check out Suzanne's channel. She is doing one of these too. I will go and check her out too because she is awesome and has probably done this before and is much smoother at it than I am. So anyways, thank you for joining me today. Have yourselves an awesome day and a week. Today is Tuesday, yes. All right, bye-bye now.